guys, I'm just finishing up the calculations on the Regal mystery movie that played on June 2nd, 2025, and the movie was Life of Chuck. A life-affirming, genre-bending story based on Stephen King's novella about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz. A whimsical tale about what it means to live life remarkably.
Rated R.
Now, I went into this movie knowing pretty much nothing. I saw a short trailer like a month and a half ago, but that's it. What I did know, it's based on a novella written by Stephen King, who I like, and the director is Michael Flanagan, who I also like, plus a long cast list of familiar names. This was definitely something I wanted to see. But the thing about that crazy cast list is that most of the actors were only in 1 or 2 scenes. Some barely had even 15 seconds of screen time. I found that pretty disappointing because I really wanted to see more of them. Since the movie is split into 3 acts, depicting 3 different times of Chuck's life, the main actors vary throughout, and there isn't much overlap either. Tom Hiddleston plays adult Charles Chuck Krantz. Chuck is an accountant, and the main character of this film. Well, kind of. Adult Chuck has a smaller role than I was expecting. While he is one of the things that connects all the acts together, he's mostly present in the 2nd act. Hiddleston's performance was good, though there really wasn't much to it. He has a pretty big dance number, but limited dialogue, which is weird for a main character. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Marty Anderson, a school teacher. He's the main character of Act 3. Marty is trying to keep some semblance of normalcy as the world unravels around him. He finds comfort in his ex-wife Felicia, who's played by Karen Gillan. Ejiofor does a great job of treading the line between taking responsibility and giving up completely. Mark Hamill plays Albie Krantz, Chuck's grandfather, who's also an accountant. Albie is a bit of a mysterious man, but still loving. He does have a drinking problem, but that's connected to the secret that he's hiding in the attic. Hamill does a fine job, though there were a few times he comes off a little campy. I do want to mention 2 other people that I really liked. The first is Mia Sara, who plays Sarah Krantz, Chuck's grandmother. Now, I only know her from the 1986 film Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where she played Sloane. Here, she is such a kind-hearted soul. She teaches Chuck how to dance and how to express himself. Mia just has the kindest eyes. The second is Benjamin Paget, who plays the preteen teen version of Chuck. He's actually known for his dancing on Broadway, and that talent really shows through in this film. Plus, he's just so expressive. I could feel his joy, fear, and sorrow. He really blew me away. The Life of Chuck also has a narrator, voiced by Nick Offerman. It kind of gave the film a retro feel, like the Wonder Years, especially when he narrated the younger Chuck's life. While I did like it, sometimes it felt a little in the way of the scenes. Often it seemed like the narrator was reading right off the book pages. If you have ever read Stephen King before, then you'll know that he's quite verbose. He's a detailed demon, frequently giving more details to the reader than they could ever want. He may tell you the brand of a character's shoes, and then tell you where they bought them, and how much they bought them for, and then who they bought them from, and that person that they bought them from, what happened in their life the day before too. Now, I'm a visual reader, and I like all these details. It helps me illustrate the mental film that plays in my head when reading. It's also how I write, but it's not for everyone. As I stated before, the Life of Chuck starts in Act 3. We are thrown into a world where the internet is shutting off, earthquakes, wildfires, and floods are rampant, and a volcano has opened up in Germany. There's some talk about it being because of environmental issues, but the reasons aren't fully explained. Many believe that it's actually the end of times. This opens up the characters to a multitude of decisions. If there was a possibility of the world ending, what would you do? Now remember, you don't know if it's ending for sure. It just seems very plausible at the moment. Would you still go to work? Would you try to reconnect with old friends and lovers? Would you travel? Or would you check yourselves out a little early? This raises a lot of questions for the audience. It forces us to really think about it. I found this to be a profound situation. We then shift to Act 2, where Chuck is an adult at an accountant's conference. This is my least favorite of the acts. We are treated to the dance sequence that is shown in the trailer, and it's a long one. It's well done and entertaining, it just kept going. And after that, I didn't really feel like much happened. There's clever dialogue and some exposition, but it felt lacking when compared to the other 2 acts. But it does ask the audience if they have what it takes to be spontaneous, to live in the moment, to treat strangers with kindness. The final act is also the first act, Act 1. The focus is now on preteen and teenage Chuck as he navigates school and growing up. Chuck finds, and subsequently loses, his passion for dance and art. We also finally learn all the details that make sense of the previous 2 acts. This act is the heart and soul of the film for me. Benjamin Paget as young Chuck knocks it out of the park. There are some tough, life-changing lessons learned. I don't want to get into it too much at the risk of spoiling things. This is the kind of film that you want to go into without thinking strings being spoiled. Chuck's grandmom teaches him how to embrace rhythm and dancing. I really enjoyed seeing an adult encourage a child to explore their creative side. As a once creative child myself, it can be tough when you have adults around you that try to stifle your passions. I used to doodle and draw all the time. I had entire notebooks filled with just characters I created. I would draw on my schoolwork, which of course teachers didn't like, even though my grades were stellar. And God forbid I get a question wrong, and then they would tell me, well, maybe if you weren't so busy doodling, you would have got that question right. Of course I was doodling because I thought I was right. Just imagine where I could be today if that passion was fostered instead of snuffed out. The Life of Chuck is a science fiction, dramatic, feel-good movie. There was also some well-placed comedic moments. Even with its time-jumping flow, it still felt organic. There's a few pacing issues here and there. Things just slowed down a little too much for me. This sometimes happened in the monologues that characters would give. A few were a bit technical and not really approachable for a lot of the audience. Plus, some of these speeches were repeated by other characters. While it's important to the plot, the significance of this information could have been relayed in a different way. The repetition works better in a book than it does on film. In the end, The Life of Chuck asks the question, what does it mean to be remarkable? If someone wrote a book about your life, would it be interesting? Would people want to learn more about you? You have to take into account what it is to be considered remarkable. To me, being an actor and starring in films is remarkable. But what about the rest of us, the normal folks, the everyday people, the drones? What do you do that you think is remarkable? Do you impress yourself? I know I have impressed myself with the things that I've learned while making these videos, but is that remarkable, considering that no one really watches these videos? I'll let you decide. In conclusion, The Life of Chuck is an impressive and contemplative film that I wasn't expecting. While unorthodox in its storytelling, it's very effective in eliciting deep thoughts and emotions from the audience. Or at least from me. There were some pacing issues, and some of the conversations were a little too wordy. And that is why I'm giving the Regal mystery movie The Life of Chuck the time-traveling score of 8.5 out of 10. I think this is the kind of movie that you'll get more out of it the more open you are. You receive what you give, and I tend to give a lot in the theater. So, did you see the Regal mystery movie The Life of Chuck? If so, leave a comment as your child and adult version down below. And please like and subscribe so the channel can be even more remarkable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the future. Or maybe the past. I'll see you.